For the 100% cheapest coins on the internet with reliable delivery and quick customer support, check out my sponsor MMOEXP by clicking the link at the top of the description and use code SWIFT at checkout for 5% off. Salsa family, and today I'm coming back at you guys with another Madden video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be predicting the MUT 22 quarterback rankings. Now in this video we're going to be going over what cards are going to be getting core elites, how those core elites are going to be separated in Madden 22, as well as going over who's going to get a gold and a high gold card. So here is the way we are going to be doing this video, boys. We have a tier list right here with all 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. We're going to put these players into the low gold, high gold, and elite sections. Now, if you do enjoy this video, leave a like down below. 200 likes on the video, and we'll do this for running backs or wide receivers or some positions on defense. So if you do like this, scroll down and leave a like. And of course, if you guys think any of these players are in the wrong tier and I made a mistake, let me know down below in the comment section. I actually feel really confident about a lot of these picks, so I think this is going to be fairly accurate. Now, I also quickly want to mention that the way that EA gives out these ratings when it comes to players in Madden Ultimate Team, and I'm assuming they're going to do it this way when it comes to Madden 22 Ultimate Team, is they generally go off of how a card played last year rather than their legacy as a player. So this list is mainly devised off of how people played last year to come up with who's going to be in the low gold, high gold, as well as each elite section. Okay, so we're going to start it off with the low gold right here. I'm not going to go through and pick out each player that's going into the low gold section. I think that would take a little bit too long. I'm going to fill out my low gold section and I'll see you guys then. Okay, now here is the low gold section of the list, and one thing that I want to mention is when a rookie quarterback gets a card in Madden Ultimate Team, it is very rare for them to get a good rating. So let's go over the list and let's go over the players in this section. So honestly, I would say basically all these cards are almost a guarantee to be in the low gold section. I'll mention any of the players that might be a high gold, but starting it off right here, we have Trey Lance, we have Jimmy G, we have Andy Dalton, we have Justin Fields, we have Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock. I believe number 2 on the Colts is going to be Brian Hoyer, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Tua, we have Danny Dimes. Continuing through this one, Zach Wilson. I believe number 16 on the Lions, that's going to be Jared Goff, photoshopped into his jersey. And then continuing through, we have Jordan Love, we have Sam Darnold, Mac Jones, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Jalen Hurts. Now, I would say all those preliminary players that I went over, those players are basically a guarantee. The final 4 cards are really the only players that could maybe be moved up to the high gold section. We have Cam Newton. He really didn't play all that well, but for the sake of his name value and for the sake of how well he could do in this year, Cam Newton could be a high gold in the game. Not exactly sure how that's going to work out. Jameis Winston, again, has high potential. We don't know how well he's going to do when it comes to high gold or low gold, but again, he didn't really play that much last year. I might be biased as a Saints fan by saying he could be a high gold. He probably comes in the low gold section. Ryan Fitzpatrick is someone that statistically plays fairly well each year. Wouldn't be surprised to see him as a high gold. And then Jalen Hurts as well easily could get moved up to the high gold section. We'll see if that ends up happening, but we're not going to spend that much time when it comes to this tier list on low gold and high gold. You guys are probably more curious about those elite QBs. Okay, so here's how the high gold section of the list is going to be looking. We have Joe Burrow. This one could easily get moving down to low gold. Not exactly sure how that's going to pan out. We have Derek Carr, who statistically played really well last year. Matt Stafford, he could easily be an 80 to 81. I personally have him in the high gold section, and that could be a point of contention. Then continuing through this, Ben Roethlisberger. We have Trevor Lawrence, so I'm going to say will probably be a high gold just because of the fact that he was the number 1 pick. And then we have Kirk Cousins rounding out the high gold section. Now for the 80 to 81 overall players, I went back to Madden 21 and I looked at how many cards got 80 to 81 overall core elites. That number was 5. There are 4 82 to 84s and 4 85 to 88s. Let's get into the 5 80 to 81s that I think are going to be in MUT 22. So starting it off, the first QB that we have in the 80 to 81 overall section is going to be Ryan Tannehill, and this man could easily be a higher overall. Ryan Tannehill actually had a great season last year. In my opinion, he's one of the most underrated QBs in the NFL, and Ryan Tannehill, I could easily see him getting like an 82 overall card. It's a little bit tough to put him over some of the players that are in that 82 to 84 overall range, but I would be absolutely shocked if Ryan Tannehill didn't start off with an elite in Madden 22, and that actually looks to be a solid card. Ryan Tannehill, he's always got a little bit of mobility, he's a little bit taller, his release isn't all that slow, so Ryan Tannehill, this could be a fairly solid card at the start of the game, and I would definitely see him in that 80 to 81 overall range. Now next up, we have Baker Mayfield going into the 80 to 81 overall core elite section. Again, this is one that I don't think you guys can really debate. Baker Mayfield played at a high enough level that he is going to be an 80 to 81 overall QB. Really only those high gold QBs that I could see moving up are maybe Matthew Stafford gets an 80 to 81, maybe Derek Carr moves up to an 80 to 81. Otherwise, there isn't really that much contemplation when it comes to who's getting an elite, and I think Baker Mayfield is one of those guys that should see an 80 overall quarterback card. And now continuing through this one I don't think is negotiable at all. We have Justin Herbert, who is likely going to be getting a core elite card. Again, a lot of these players that are getting cards at the start of the year and are core elite quarterbacks, these cards are going to play well, man. You guys can see Justin Herbert, he was one of everyone's favorite quarterbacks in this year's game. I think he's going to start it off with probably, let's say, like an 81 overall card. Wouldn't be surprised to see him with an 81. I don't think he's really got a chance to move up to that 82 to 84 overall range, but I think we're basically guaranteed that Justin Herbert is going to start off with a core elite. And next up, we have Matt Ryan in the 80 to 81 overall list. I would think Matt Ryan should get an 80 overall card. Matt Ryan's going for like 4,500 yards and like 20 to 30 touchdowns every single year with about 10 picks. And I think just based on how well the other quarterbacks played on this list, there isn't that much competition in the 80 to 81 overall slot. It feels like there's a really clear divide between the 80 to 81s and the high golds. None of those high golds, other than really Matthew Stafford or actually maybe Derek Carr, could move up. I could see Derek Carr maybe switching with Matt Ryan. We're going to keep the list as is right now. Derek Carr actually had a really good year last year, but we'll put Matt Ryan in the 80 to 81 overall section, and I think he gets an 80 overall card. I'd be shocked to see it an 81. And then finally, we have Kyler Murray as most likely an 80 overall, I would say, core elite quarterback to start the year off. Again, Kyler had a good year last year. It wasn't as good as some people were expecting. I feel like he could have another really strong season this year, and he'd continue to move up the rankings. But Kyler Murray, I think he probably slots in as an 80. I'm going to say when it comes to the 81 overall players, Ryan Tannehill is definitely an 81. And then I could also see Justin Herbert being an 81 overall player with Matt Ryan, K1, and Baker Mayfield as the 80s. So moving right along to the 82 to 84 overall players, we are going to start this section of the list off with Deshaun Watson, you guys. Now, Deshaun Watson, as long as all of his illegal stuff gets sorted out, he'll be a QB, he'll be a core elite, I would say, almost for sure. Deshaun, one of the best QBs in the NFL. Hopefully all that legal stuff gets sorted out. If it doesn't, he's unlikely to be in the game. Think about Antonio Brown. Although Antonio Brown was potentially a little bit more extreme of a situation because he actually wasn't on a team for a time there. He didn't get a card in Madden Ultimate Team until later on in the year. Deshaun Watson, if he gets an elite card, I would say it's probably an 82 overall. Obviously, Deshaun, an absolute baller in the NFL, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the entire league, probably, and I think Deshaun probably starts it off with an 82. Then I could probably also see Lamar Jackson slotting in at like an 82 overall. Obviously, he had a pretty solid year last year, nothing too amazing, not to the point where he's like an 85 or an 86, but I would see Lamar probably slotting in as like an 82 overall quarterback. And as we go through this list, I'm starting to notice there's a lot of players at really all these tiers that are going to be really usable cards in Madden. Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, a lot of really good players, Kyler Murray, so many awesome options throughout this entire list. And then moving on through this list, we have Dak Prescott, who had an absolutely incredible season last year. Unfortunately, was shut down by injury, but Dak Prescott, I could see him being like an 83, maybe getting that 84 slot, although there's someone else who should get the 84 slot in my personal opinion. But Dak Prescott right there, he had an insane year last year. I think he's going to get a really good card in Madden, definitely well deserved. I could see him getting like an 83 and easily being like a top 6 quarterback in the game. And then finally, this one is gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. I'm putting Tom Brady in at the 84 overall slot. We have these other quarterbacks that are in the 85 to 88. Obviously, Tom Brady, he could very easily move up and be an 85 overall. I think that he's either an 84 or an 85. If I had a tier for like 84 to 85, he would be in there. Unfortunately, he's on this 82 to 84 overall tier, but I think him and the 85 overall quarterback, they're really a toss-up when it comes to who's getting what card. Although I do think it'll be fun to see this guy who's getting an 85 get moved up the rankings and start to get a really good card in Madden. Tom Brady obviously won the Super Bowl, the greatest quarterback of all time, and obviously you cannot contest that. I think it's also been really cool to see Tom not on the Patriots anymore. Although I'm a Saints fan and I don't really like the Bucs, Tom Brady, he's gotten a little bit more likable, it feels like. Then moving right on through this, we have Josh Allen slotting in as an 85 overall quarterback in Madden. This is well deserved. It's really between him and Tom Brady, but I think it's going to be super fun to have Josh Allen as a good card. Obviously, Joshy boy was one of the best quarterbacks in the game in Madden 21 Ultimate Team. This 85 will be awesome if he ends up getting that card. I think that he probably gets the 85 over Tom. Really great season for Josh Allen, and I think he probably gets the 85 when it comes to core elites. Now for these final 3 quarterbacks, it is super tough to rank them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I think Russell Wilson should be higher, but I think that Patrick Mahomes, since he's got that name value, and since everyone absolutely loves him in Madden, we're going to put Russell Wilson as lower than Mahomes, but I think think that Russell Wilson actually had a better season than Mahomes, and I think that he does deserve a better card, but we're going to put Russ a little bit lower. Let's say Russ ends up getting to 86 overall. Obviously, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL, in my opinion. He was the MVP frontrunner at the start of the year, kind of tailed off at the end of the season, but I don't think that's all on him. I think that's more on the team around him, in my personal opinion. Russ is an absolutely insane quarterback, one of my favorites in the NFL as well, if I do say so myself. Russell Wilson, let's say he slots in at the 86. And then slotting in at the 87 overall, we have Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, potentially the best QB in the NFL, definitely the most talented quarterback that I have literally ever watched. I have never seen a quarterback on the field that is more talented than this guy. His game against the Saints, I was just like, how do you stop this guy? How in the world do you stop this man? He's absolutely insane. Let's slot him in at the 87. He's probably going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the greatest, if he ends up with more rings. So Mahomes, absolutely insane as an 87. And then the MVP of last year, you gotta give him the highest overall quarterback, and he is going to be an 88 overall when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, obviously well-deserved as the 88. Okay, so that is the tier list, boys. I think this one is really accurate. The only places where there could be some switch up, maybe Josh Allen moves down, maybe Tom Brady moves up. I could see maybe we have someone like Ryan Tannehill moving up a tier, and then maybe someone like Derek Carr could move up a tier as well. But that's how this tier list is looking. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Looks like there's going to be good quarterbacks at every single tier to fit your price point at the start of the game, which is just awesome. So that's going to do it for me. Until next time, boys, I am out. Peace.